So the amusing thing about the Great Northern Sexcast is that basically we hit a button and you're being let into the room when it's already hitting the fan. Is how the show pretty much works. Wouldn't you say, Colleen Bertino?
Well, as long as I get my coffee, I don't care what the hell's going on. This is what we're waiting for. We're discussing. No,
Well,
maybe.
of. Yeah.
Discussing scrotums. And
that's
one of the best words. And really, it is.
And they are so neglected in conversation, don't you think?
They are, yeah.
Megan,
mm-hmm. They're hiding out under the dick, all alone, not getting love.
Not anymore. So, Colleen, since we're already on the subject, let's open with this.
Well, the gloriousness of my friends that I've had for about a zillion years is they will find things and they will send it to me, which makes doing this podcast so lovely and easy sometimes. Located a website dedicated to beautiful landscapes with scrotums, testicles, the boys.
Mm-hmm. Artfully having a ball, I called it.
Mm-hmm. And, we will get it on the site. But pretty much what folks are doing, and it's, men because there are testicles, is they will drop trow, they will bend over, put their phone between their legs, line up a beautiful landscape shot, and then in the top part of the picture is about an inch of testicle. And I'm thinking, why? And then I'm thinking, I don't care why it's funny, because sometimes things are just funny. And then I thought, and the best part about this article that you'll be reading is the fact that I think the first one they found or something like, or it was a thing back like in 2007. So now these are like retro scrotum because people are going back and doing it again. And I didn't hear about this in 2007, but I'm like, because of the gloriousness of the internet, we now have landscape with balls.
They're called Nutscapes, Colleen.
Nutscapes.
Yes. Nutscapes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Teabagging nature. That's what the internet will get us.
Yes. And I mean, because there's plenty of kittens and puppies and political memes and all this sort of stuff. But really, to run across nutscaping, I'm like, although there tends to not be a lot of scaping, these are hairy scrotums.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
But Megan and I were just talking before we clicked on today that we find those ever so slightly more amusing.
I think that's the best part, the little shadows of the
fuzzies.
little hairs dangling in frame.
Adult humans have hair in their genital area. I mean, they just do. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to find it like in my food.
No.
But if the genital hair is where it's supposed to be, that's just fine. Well, I just put it around. No, it's just beautiful. Over in a mountain scene, over an ocean. There was a sunrise with nuts.
The one with the twinkles on it, and the twinkle
like
is
the
very
lens flare.
Yeah.
It was quite beautiful. Yes.
So, yeah,
Ansel Adams, they just need to start selling these in galleries and such.
I think they would probably. Considering the fact that I could go to the Walker and see on the floor an installation of a vertical blind about half splayed out on the floor, and that was art. I'm thinking if I had a choice between vertical blind on the floor or Nutscape, I'm going with the Nutscape.
Yeah. That's not art. That's like when you're not getting your deposit back. Although I am waiting for the boobs to answer.
Oh. Well, there's lots.
boobs are everywhere.
Cleavage shot in every. But you don't have
right.
nipples.
But now I'm just picture this, if you will, in your mind, the same beautiful landscape with just a little nipple hanging down into frame.
I'm trying to figure out how you would actually.
It would be a little awkward. You might need a partner with that.
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, because we're all sitting here. Mind you, I'm just for the audience here. We're all kind of twisting and trying to figure out how you'd hold the phone. And
I think that would be a dual thing.
Maybe if you had a selfie stick, you could get in there.
That's a dangerous term in the show, selfie stick. I'm just saying.
That's what we call all our products.
Right. Oh, and do we have some good stuff for you guys today? Just out of curiosity for everyone, how was your Halloween?
It was insane.
Okay.
At one point, last year I had about 50 kids at my house.
Okay.
So this year I decided
like a house party?
No. Like
just coming
trick-or-treaters.
by? Okay.
Trick-or-treaters. And then, so I made up 80 treat bags. Because I figure, you had some non-chocolate peanut candy in there. You had some other stuff. You had some tattoos, a little bouncy eraser, because kids, all different ages. So I made up 80 bags. And I'm waiting, and at about 6, nothing's happening. And then about 6:15, it was like my neighborhood got carpet bombed with trick-or-treaters. It was insane. There were hordes of children. And I ran out of the treat bags. I had to send my daughter down to Holiday to buy more candy. I had to dig into my personal candy stash because you don't tell me that you don't buy Halloween candy just for yourself. Right. So I'm digging into that. And, I probably by the end of the night, and I'm not exaggerating, there was at least 150 kids that came to the door.
That's fantastic.
And I mean, I love Halloween. I dressed up this year. I had, I even made the grown-ups happy because I had little tiny cordial cups of Bailey's for the grown-ups.
That is so cool. Last year I did airplane bottles because boyfriend has the liquor store. And so I, do the kid thing. And then the best was the parents that were, you could tell they came straight from work, they're still in their business clothes. And I said, and now for you. And they looked at me like I was the angel of mercy.
Yes.
It was.
Because a lot of times they're trick-or-treating as a group. And so one parent would come up with the youngest one who needs help with the steps or the kid that was dressed as Rubik's Cube and couldn't see the steps. and I'm not even sure what some of the costumes were because it was chaos from about 6:15 to about 7:35. I mean, it was just, oh my God. So I was just out on my porch and I had the little tray and they'd be like the one parent who got it and then he'd walk down and the other parents would go, wait, where'd you get that? They're running up the stairs. Not that most of them didn't already have a little adult sippy cup with them.
Right.
But and then at about 7:35, it almost stopped because the wind picked up. I had about 10 seconds worth of rain, and then that was it. And then I was able to go off to another Halloween party. But
oh my God.
It was like, and this is great because this means that at least because I live in a neighborhood where they're building big houses, you don't buy a big house for the most part unless you're planning on shoving it, with filling it with children. Mm-hmm. So I probably have at least a decade now of fun Halloweens, and I just love that stuff.
Oh, it's so funny. One of my other podcast co-hosts has a second home in a swanky neighborhood in Arizona, gated. He had over 400. And they made, because the gate guy told them, they said, dude, you might have like 500 kids. And he said, no, come on. And he said they did. And they made treat bags too and said it was just hysterical. But they had, this one killed me. I think this is the best thing I've heard. There was like 4 10-year-olds. They had, one was Bernie Sanders, one was Hillary, one was Carly, and the other one was Trump. And I guess the only sad part about it was, so he's making jokes to them, and the kids don't get it because they just, whatever. And the parents are cracking up, but it's like, okay, that's not fair. You sort of like, I don't know. I found that to be ever so slightly usurious, but funny.
Yeah. Right, because I'm sure the kids weren't picking. Mommy, this year I want to be Donald Trump.
Or Bernie Sanders. Yeah, right? Yeah. Or Carly Fiorina. Like, right? But that was just funny.
It was great. I didn't even recognize it. I had 3 Elsas, and one was a little boy. And it was obviously about 4, and he obviously loved Elsa because he had the whole get up and the wig and this and that, and he was just beaming from ear to ear.
Oh, so funny.
But Ninja Turtles and all this, but like I said, it was so fast and furious.
Did you take a nap?
I went to a party. There were a little tequila, a little Cards Against Humanity, and then at one point I'm like, I can't even stand upright anymore. I have to go home. I mean, it was only like a shot and a half. I'm tired. I mean, it was just so much coming at me. But Halloween was great. And
the kids are so fun to watch.
Obviously folks were partying because folks were at the stores. I mean, it was,
that's cool.
And I think the best thing in the world that's happened for my St. Louis Park store is they shut down the Highway 7 bridge, so everyone's driving down Excelsior Boulevard and they're getting eyeballs on the store. Normally, I get completely screwed by road construction.
You know what? I mean, make MnDOT work for you for once. I'm just saying.
So that was magic because I know, people give them a lot of crap, but for the most part, it's our own damn fault because we do not vote for the people that will adequately fund things. And so you're always at the whim of when something can happen.
Right.
They don't really get a choice of when they're going to, do something.
Yeah.
Maybe here and there, but for the most part. I mean, I absolutely freaked out a gal at the MnDOT at State Fair this year because I said, everything looks great. You're doing fine. She's like, you're like the only person who said that. I know I'm in the minority here.
It's been it's been a
but
bugger.
It's tough. But I mean, we only have so much time. There's only so much money. And some of the roads are 50 to 70 years old. What do you want?
Right.
Let's just,
You need roads.
Well, by the way, Miss Megan, I know Halloween is a big deal for you. We can't pass this subject by without hearing what you did.
Oh, it would turn out to not be great.
Aw.
I went to a party on Friday, so that was very fun. But we were planning on staying close to the boyfriend's house because I'm not a big bar fan on Halloween generally, and don't want to deal with driving or any of that. So we're like, oh, some $10 cab ride, let's do it. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those bars where we walked in and everyone stopped and turned and looked at us, and we're like, oh, it's one of these places. This is going to be fun. And I'm sitting there with I made a chest burster from Aliens. Oh. So I've got this giant bloody monster like plunging out of my cleavage at people. And my guy's like, you know everyone in the bar is staring at you right now. And I'm like, yeah. And we went for karaoke, and it was like terrible sound system and not a good setup. And we're like, screw it, let's go home. I've got booze at home. We'll put on The Crow. We'll watch a scary movie. Be good to go. So
that's awesome. Well, I did help the boyfriend at the liquor store on Halloween. Can't pass those nights up.
Definitely.
Oh, and it was so worth the time and effort. I got to tell you.
Were folks really anything interesting costume-wise, adult-wise? Was it all sexy this and sexy that?
No, actually, the two that were funny, and the people really had a lot to do with it. I saw the first one that came through was so funny. There were three of us behind the counter. She's wearing like these blue metallic tight leggings. She had a cute figure and a blue sweater. And I just knew this wasn't a normal outfit. And she had boots on. And I'm looking at her, I'm going, okay, what could that possibly be? Because I know it has to be something. And then immediately following her was a Paul Bunyan. She was Babe. Mm-hmm. And then she whipped out this helmet that looked like from the Flintstones, the Loyal Order of Buffalo hat.
Right, yeah.
They were adorable. I mean, I thought that was really cute. And then one girl, she's wearing like a white suit with black spots on it. And she said, can you guys guess what I am? And Carl blurts out, cow. And the other two of us were like, grr. Well, she was a domino. And so everybody in the store goes, dude, even if she's mooing, you never guess cow.
Never guess cow.
No. It was a good time. And we had a good time. So, yeah, well, good deal. Anything updates? We kind of talked a little bit about the stores, but what's going on at Fantasy Gifts this week?
Well, we're working on getting the plan in place to update the Bloomington store, first the counters, and then in March we'll do
You're just
the
a
flat
remodeling
wall.
fiend.
There's been a lot of deferred maintenance. I mean, let's be honest. The past few years, with everyone really watching their money, I mean, I sell things that you want, not that you need. Mm-hmm. I get that. I have no problems with that. That's just how it is. And so finally getting to the point where I can do some of this, some of the upgrades I've been wanting to do for years. I mean, just like anything else, you got to fix things. And so Bloomington's next on our list. We've got, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I managed to actually get out an internet order on Friday without Sarah Eric's help.
Wow. Wow.
Excuse me.
That's all right.
We've got the Rabbit Company vibes are coming in this week. Wee's coming in this week. The next two big orders are coming in are Wicked and ID Lube. Tara, when she went on the buying trip in Vermont, spaced things out a little bit so she didn't kill us coming up.
That was nice. That was thoughtful.
So by the time folks do their big Christmas shopping, which usually starts mid-December and then through the end of the year, because it's like Christmas week,
yep.
We're going to be bursting at the seams.
For sure.
And so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting, we did, just, little things, just trying to, get ready. We're, going to be, I'm going to spend a little time updating our, online only things, because there are certain items that just people are interested in, but just don't do well enough to carry in the stores here.
Sure.
So I'm going to spend a little time updating some brand names, seeing what's going on.
Cool.
Dig back into the website. It's been every couple of months. Yeah, every couple of months. There's only so much you get because you need to see what's piquing folks' interest and stuff like that.
For sure.
We had we're giggling still over the fact that when my mom was at the show, she works in our DVD department, and she's going over to the DVD companies, and they're just freaking out over the fact that grandma, they're trying to like shield her from the movies. And she's like, I've been doing this for 35 years and I used to be a nurse. Show me the movies. So they were just one young guy was just, he could barely like look her in the eye when he's talking. He was trying to say the titles or this or that. She's like, I do this all the time, but so that was pretty funny.
That is good.
The show was held in Vermont, and so it was just so peaceful there that a lot of times they were saying that folks would go to the bars afterwards, but people just like go back to their rooms and have a bottle of wine, look at the fireplace in the room because they're at some like a Vermont ski resort in the off season. Nice. So they had a little bit of snow up in the mountains, and then but the grass was still green, but the leaves were orange, and they said it was just lovely. Aww. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should go on these trips. And then I'm like, no, I don't, because there's too much. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just too much. I don't want to have to make that decision. I mean, there's so many things.
That's what Tara's for.
That's what Tara's for. Yes, I drive her insane.
Well, I got to tell you, there's one more note for MnDOT came up in conversation, and I've got to tell you about this one Halloween thing that happened. 6 Brits dressed as highway cones. Did you see that?
I did not read the article. I did see the picture or something,
it's hysterical. And there's a video.
Oh, okay.
You guys have got to check out the 6 crazy Brits in Kingston upon Thames, and that were out there blocking buses and whatever. And the quotes from the onlookers were like, it was funny, but the video is just, they're bumbling around, and people are stopping,
Although, didn't they get arrested?
Yeah, but the cops were cracking up. I'm sure. I think that they probably just got him off the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that was a cute one. If you have a minute, go look at that.
So I did see like one tweet or something where like men dressed as traffic cones are acting like traffic cones. Go check it out or something. Yeah. I saw the picture in one thing, but I didn't know what happened.
It's been retweeted 500 times. The stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh. Cracked me up. I want to be a traffic cone next year. I'm just saying. Guys, in other news, Portland pops up, which, they had the hanging dildos.
Yes, to keep Portland weird. Very important.
Yep, very important. This time we've got a panty thief.
Uh-oh.
Yep. 24 years old. And unfortunately, he didn't go into a random place. He went into someone he knew, a home of someone he knew, and took her panties. And he's now being held on burglary and criminal mischief. So now we've got
all the panties?
Pretty much. Yeah. He was walking out the door, and they caught him actually in the act. So we've got a trail of undies going, It was kind of
I'm like, oh, no, okay. It's just very weird. Although, I was like,
I don't get it either.
You must obviously have a thing for this person.
Right. I never understood that. Like,
the panty fetish?
Yeah, fondling, sniffing, whatever they do with them, I guess.
I understand, and I've never delved into it. Is that, people will actually sell their panties online.
Oh my God! It was on Orange Is the New Black this year.
Yeah.
They did it from the prison panties or whatever. It was hilarious. I mean,
people put themselves through college. Thanks, Craigslist.
Isn't that? I mean, you know what though? Capitalism can be a beautiful thing.
Oh,
it's like I don't care. I mean, especially if it pays for your college,
right?
Right. That's hysterical. You mentioned Vermont. I got so frustrated. This is one thing about the internet that gets me. The kinky state survey. The link is broken. The ultimate link. There's references to it all over. The only 2 tidbits I was able to get were that Georgia masturbates the most of the United States, and Vermont has the most sexual partners per capita.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know, but I would love to know more. So,
I can understand that, because if you have the same amount of sex partners that other people have, but it's such a small population state.
No, they're saying per person.
Per person. Oh, okay.
Oh, no. I mean, they get busy. I mean, it's boring. It's cold.
Is it for lovers? Is that Vermont?
I think it is.
Is it?
Someone's for lovers.
Some state over there.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's where it came from, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so that is kind of a bugger. I really, if anybody can find the link to that, send it to us, message us. Did you have something, Colleen?
No, I was just trying to, the show outline. I'm like, oh, that's right. I do have that.
Yeah, I sent you that. I send it to you every single week. This one kills me. So, lady, and look, I mean, I like to drink my wine and everything else, but she decided she wanted to pet a tiger. So she broke into the zoo in Omaha, and she got a severe hand injury when trying to pet the pussy.
I am like, oh yeah, there she goes.
Criminal trespass, and God knows how much in medical bills, because I know the hornet sting set me back $1,000. So I can't imagine what a tiger bite would cost.
I am not saying that I have never been overserved. But I'm pretty sure at no point during my being overserved have I wanted to wander down railroad tracks, pet a tiger in a zoo, wander along the, trying to see if I could leap from one building to another. Mm-hmm. I really sort of want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So there must be just the way that different bodies are wired when the booze goes in.
It sounds like maybe other substances. This in fact was booze in this particular case. But yeah.
Wow, and then no issues aside from being drunk, because I can't imagine.
Well, what about the security at the zoo? How the hell did she get anywhere near the tiger?
That is a good question as well.
She broke in. Mm-hmm. Criminal trespass, baby. Yeah.
It's not going to end up like Free Willy, where you break in the middle of the night and then suddenly you and the wild animal are best friends. I guarantee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I tend to like the small furry things. A lot of teeth, not so much. I'm just that.
I mean, I've looked at a tiger and been like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. I want to snuggle you." And then I'm like, "But you're a tiger."
That's true.
So there's that. I'll stick with my cat.
Yes. Keep the domestic pussy. Mm-hmm. Okay, this one absolutely killed me, and I don't know why it strikes me even doubly funny that both of these cases happened in Manatee County, Florida. Because if you're going to think of what might be a cuddly animal, a manatee, I mean, seriously, what do they have a mean bone in their body? I don't think so. But in Florida, police have arrested another extremely intoxicated woman after she beat her boyfriend up over bad oral sex. She assaulted her 32-year-old boyfriend. She's 50, by the way. Good for her, rah-rah, until she beat him, of course. I guess it was a joint oral sex encounter that ended prematurely, and she got mad because she said he, quote, finished first and stopped. And so she's now booked on assault, and she's in county lockup. Earlier, she also, another woman, was domestic battery charges, which is a little worse. Same thing. And they are going to prison for 69 crimes. Why is that funny? I'm just saying.
I'm thinking that possibly, if they are in prison, then whatever version of a substance abuse program these folks need to go through.
You think?
And they tend to, and then maybe some relationship counseling,
anger management, charm school. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I get being real upset about some crappy oral sex. That's definitely always a bummer, but violence is never the answer.
No.
Some they could come to one of the 9 fantasy gifts and get like Jessica Drake's Guide to Fellatio or Jessica Drake's Guide to Oral Sex. Mm-hmm. Get an educational movie. Yeah, pick up some pointers.
Yeah, we have them in the movie section, and we're gonna have them up in the book section too, because we know not everybody likes to go back over to the movies.
Okay,
so you can find them.
See, that's the problem with that age gap. See, she's 50, he's 32. He apparently does not know what he's doing yet. So maybe she should find people.
Okay, but here's my question: don't you think by 32? I mean, come on,
man.
Oh,
I don't know. It depends. I think it depends on if you have a partner, on your partners. Like, if you're terrible in bed and no one ever tells you, you're never going to fix yourself. You're never going to know. So he could have gone, however 20 or however long that's maybe a little early, but however long he's starting and, just been terrible in bed the whole time. And, if women didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
See, and once again, it comes down to communication. Mm-hmm. It always does.
That will stop the violence. That's the takeaway from this.
Discuss sex. Don't hit. Hitting is never the answer. So
unless they want you to.
Yeah, right. That's
consensual safety word.
Indeed, safety word. So it cracks me up that China would not let Britney Spears perform, or any number of acts that they're like, oh no, that's obscene. They are going to be hosting a wankathon, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in honor of World AIDS Day. It's a masturbation contest. And so there is an actual Wankathon website. And it's not to be confused, by the way, with San Francisco's annual Masturbate-a-thon. Okay?
Right.
So just FYI. So the 10 male participants, this is almost creepier than the idea of a contest itself. They wore masks and they concealed their genitals with orange buckets. So there they were, and they didn't show their genitals, but they then had to like have their fruits of their labor, if you will.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like inspected, you know, and the winner was from their.
So they're like up on stage, or
Yeah.
How? So is it who lasts the longest, or who makes the most fruits? Or I'm curious. The judging.
Say it was sponsored by a sex toy manufacturer, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
but
they make an awful lot of. I saw they make an awful lot of sex toys
yeah,
in China.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
I've seen that they do lots of stuff like in China and Japan. Weird. Like not too long ago, there was like you could grab a porn star's boob for charity. Like they do a lot of odd stuff over there.
okay, sure.
So in other words, they just like domestic, sexuality, but not foreign sexuality.
I guess.
Must be.
I guess it's weird. I mean, yeah. So, and staying within the realm of the Pacific, we're over to Tokyo now, and there is a bar called Love Jewel, Joule, and this is a female masturbation bar. So the pictures of this are pretty cool. Picture how you have liquor bottles, with backlit and, bar. Sex toys. Okay. And,
I bet it's pretty.
the picture looks actually kind of cool.
Are they all shaped like Hello Kitty and weird?
No.
They've got some weird laws
Yeah.
over there. I find this really surprising, actually.
The bar is about, a safe place to discuss female masturbation. They're trying to dispel the stigma of that. There in Japan, apparently, it's not, something that people talk about. But you have to, if you're a guy, you can only be allowed in if you have a female with you. Men
Sure.
can't come in otherwise. And so it's all set up about women sitting there and just being able to talk and trade info and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
They're not trading the toys. I hope not. That would be
it's not clear from the article whether or not they actually do anything with them or if it's just like
a display.
Yeah, it was murky. Just saying.
That would be a really. Oh, I can just picture. I would love it. Back at the Burnsville store. This. Oh.
You know what I
that
mean?
was so
The display.
cool.
Look at the picture online. It's really cool. I mean, it kind of.
When I win the lottery. That's what I always say. When I win the lottery,
Colleen
There will
builds
be a
out her
sex
stores.
toy bar.
there will be a sex toy bar,
That would,
or at
there
least
should
a
be
gorgeous display. Oh,
a lube bar. I think that there still should be a
oh,
lube bar.
I could probably have a store that sold just lube.
Yeah.
Oh my, there is so much lube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we mentioned your mom out there buying in the DVDs, and let's be honest. I mean, we're like right around the corner from Black Friday. It's already November. All this stuff is going on, and so I found a few things that I think really kind of tie into fantasy gifts. One of the things I thought was interesting today. There's this whole thing. It was on a site written for guys about how to get your partner interested in watching porn.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to see kind of what you guys think. And you guys really can offer some of the things and point out what you guys have that kind of goes along with this. I thought this was pretty interesting. The first part of it was keep the ask casual. Like, don't make a big deal out of it. Like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Because the idea of it was not to scare her off. What do you guys think?
I think, I mean, that makes sense, but I also think that you're talking about generational differences. I don't really think that there's a lot of folks in their 20s right now that it just hasn't, they just haven't run across. I mean, it gets talked about on TV shows.
Right.
I mean,
running across it is different than sitting and watching it with
making a plan
but
too.
keeping the ask casual would help there, because if you're watching something on on TV, or you're Netflixing and chilling, you can I can't even say that. Oh my god, the conversation is definitely going to be more casual. Just going through there. But if you're to the point where you can't even talk about whether or not someone's kissing good or not, trying to figure out whether or not
Right.
you would like to go, watch a movie together, would be a whole different thing. So yeah, casual makes, complete sense.
Yeah.
Just going
Yeah,
through
you
there.
definitely wouldn't want it to be asked with pressure.
Well, and I'll tell you, one night we were we were flipping, this was like a year and a half ago. We were just watching TV and there was nothing on, and the late night shows were more vapid than normal. And we were just flipping around and we found episodes of Real Sex or something like that. And, so they show you, some of the things that are going on. And we were like, we ended up having a great time.
It's a good gateway drug, right?
Yeah, it was a great gateway drug. So yeah, it was pretty fun. The next question was, so if the ask goes well, then find out what she might find interesting. And we talk about this here on the show all the time. Talk about some of the selections that they've got out there that are so much more female friendly than porn of past.
Oh,
Definitely.
God, I'm going to blank on some of the
Wicked. Wicked is the big one. A lot of
New
their
Sensations.
features.
There's another one.
New Sensations. They put out a lot of parodies in general. Also still Playgirl. So the big thing is Wicked. They do some features, and then they also have their romance series, which is specifically kind of geared toward women.
Yep.
We have the Playgirl movies, which is also geared toward women. A lot of them, actually, we have on drop the price on them quite a bit. They all have little exciting price cut stickers on them, so that's exciting. Because we're starting to kind of replace with the romance series from Wicked.
Got it.
New Sensations as well, yes. And a lot of it's just better looking guys, not a lot of emphasis on like cum shots and facials, because blah, boring.
That's not a girl thing.
No,
It's
no,
so not a girl thing.
Yeah.
Maybe a few. There might be a few, but as a general rule, guys, girls do not want their face covered in your cum. Sorry.
Okay.
That's how
You
it
heard
is.
it right here.
Yeah, no,
Megan
Sticky
says.
and gross.
Megan says.
Give you an eye infection.
we do have that section at the stores,
Okay.
and that's going through there, and that's exactly. And if you go in and you ask, they're going to bring you to that section.
Yep.
It's over, a part of the feature section.
Okay.
And you're going to want to look for features.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of stuff that's sort of old school and bits and pieces, because sometimes you just want to get the job done. So if you want to look at 4 hours of blowjobs, we can get you a movie, probably 4 hours of blowjobs. But then, that's where that, once you've worked your way up to that.
Parodies, I think, are really, really good. Especially like if you happen to, like, say your lady is a big fan of Three's Company, and you go into the store and you're like, oh, look, here's a Three's Company porn parody, or whatever,
funny.
whatever she's into. Those are generally a lot of fun and pretty funny. So it's a lot lighter way to work into the scenes.
Are they still fun? Are the parodies still funny? Because I can remember being in my early 20s with my girlfriends and all of us getting together and drinking wine and eating popcorn and laughing our asses off. Are they still funny that way?
They are. They do.
Okay.
They are definitely are.
Good.
And a lot of them, they parody comedies as well.
Okay.
So like we had an I Love Lucy parody, and like it was like an episode of the show.
Oh God.
And then they all fucked a bunch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
okay. Fred and Ethel, though, there's something about that just doesn't turn my crank so much.
no.
I read once those two actors, from what I understand, just did not like each
I
other
heard
at
that too.
all.
Vivian Vance and Crawley, William Frawley.
And I'm just like, so seeing a parody of that would be damned entertaining, knowing that backstory.
Oh God.
And it was fun. Like, I still distinctly remember I had this much older couple come in, and they were looking through movies, and I think it had probably been quite a lot of asking and communication before they came in, and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, here you go. Have this On Golden Pond porn.
Are you
parody.
serious?
Yes. And they
Oh
were
my
like,
gosh.
hell yeah. And they ate it
Oh my
up, bought
God.
it, left, and it's something for everybody.
That's fabulous.
And a lot of folks might like to, or if they're feeling, or if you're older, stuff like that. We actually have a lot of, how do I put this politely? I'm just not going to say it, grandma porn.
Okay.
We get requests. They like the older ladies.
Okay.
And so if you're looking for some other stuff going on and you don't want to be in, like, okay, I really don't want to look at the 22-year-old having sex.
Okay.
There's a lot of different genres out there, and we've been having, just had several requests for, do you have more, as they put it, more grandma porn?
That's so funny. Well, that kind of plays into the last one. So the next two, after the ask and finding out, kind of what she might like, I thought this was interesting. Set the stage for the viewing. And the suggestion by this particular author was agree to not start going at it until they do on screen for whatever reason. And there's a long explanation to this. I just wanted to get your takes on that.
Okay, so don't have sex for the first 5 minutes. I guess it wouldn't be too difficult to play that game.
There's a couple of extra minutes in these things, but for the most part, and I personally, I think I would, after you're watching it and you're giggling over it and you're going, well, that looks interesting, like not in a million years, this or that. I mean, you might want to have it on, but for the most part, I think I would be. I'm distracted by the fact that there's a TV in this room. Okay, so I don't want to be distracted by a movie going on, in the room. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I suppose plenty of folks were conceived with Johnny Carson in the background, but that, eons ago or whatever late night stuff is. But the TV for me has got to be no TV.
Okay.
I mean, I could do that, but
that definitely depends too on the type of movie. Like if you get the one where before every scene, the guys, I don't know why they have this. It drives me crazy. The new trends in porn where, like, the guy's got a camera and he's like shaking around the woman, and the woman's like, "Oh, hi, my name is such and such," and then she just like talks for a minute and then takes off her clothes, and then it cuts to a sex scene.
Really?
Yeah. So that's definitely not going to be too
non sequitur for me.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the other ones, that's what it is.
Is that a lame stab at character development?
Maybe.
Unclear. Yeah.
Like I said, there's pretty. There's not too much you can't find. So if it's something you're interested in, we'll look at it. And we do special order. We've mentioned this before. So if you find an actor or an actress that you're interested in, we can do our best to locate, some more pictures, or we do carry every now and then a selection of classics. So if you're curious about Behind the Green Door, it's still available and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And if you're like, remember Bush? I want to remember what that looks like. I'll go get a porn from the 70s.
Oh, God, that's right. I know, right? The next one was to do a post-game analysis and talk about what was fun and what they would like to do next time.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk, that was really interesting. And also just to remember, and there really needs, that there's a lot more warm-up that happens that's not on camera.
Right.
To really go in with realistic, ideas that this is fantasy.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of, real stuff. I mean, obviously, I want to encourage people to, come into the stores and buy or rent movies, but they need to know that this is fantasy, for the most part. Real life is going to take a little bit more foreplay, a little bit more lube, and a little bit more conversation.
Yep, definitely.
Well, and did you have something?
Oh, it's just a great way to start the conversation, though. Oh, remember when they did that thing? That was cool. Oh, when they did that thing, don't ever try that.
Dude, that one did not work for me. And the last one on this one was let whoever didn't choose the first one choose the next.
That seems fair.
Yeah. But I think it'd be cool. I mean, if you do have this conversation, and at this time of year, I think it'd be fun to make like a basket and get like one of a couple different kinds of things, like one funny one. That'd be a fun side gift, I think, for, one of the upcoming holidays.
Oh, we have a lot of white elephant shopping that happens in our stores.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, the other present a lot of people ask for is a threesome. And once again, advice from guys to guys about this. Thought was pretty interesting. Wanted to get the crew's take on it. Which, by the way, what percentage of adults would you guess, based on an ABC survey, would you think have had a threesome?
I have no idea. Probably a lot less
than we think. 14, according to
Whoa. Okay.
Do you disagree?
Mm-hmm.
I can't disagree with statistics.
Yeah.
I was imagining like 40.
Yeah. Well, 20, and this surprised me, but this again was an ABC poll, so you never know what the sample was like. 21% have fantasized about it, and I feel like that number is really low.
Yeah, that seems incredibly low.
Yeah, that's. I would love to know how they actually, ask that question, because that makes no sense whatsoever, considering the amount of. Well, it's part of most movies now, but it used to be a whole. It used to be a genre itself in the 80s and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I thought this was pretty cool. And this is from guys that have learned the hard way, it sounds like, the threesome rules. So the first one was establish the rules. So, and they were very clear about the guy getting detailed instructions about what his girlfriend or wife with this other woman coming in, what's okay and what's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, were there instructions the other way? I mean, if you're bringing in another guy?
Yes.
I'm assuming, are they assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was just from this point.
That this is not the devil's threesome, as they call it.
Is that what they call it? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay.
I call it more fun. Sounds like to me. But
and they said, figure out what she's going to be comfortable with, but knowing, and she has to understand too that you still have to pay attention to the other woman too. She can't be just a side dish. She has to get something out of it too, which I thought was an interesting way to put it. Yeah, it's
not just the sprinkles. It's got to be the whole deal.
Yeah. Number 2, be as giving as you can. And this made me laugh because, and the guy even said, most guys go into this thinking it's going to be just the two girls just fawning over them the whole time. And they're saying, look, if you want this to work and be fun, you better be very involved and very attentive and work your butt off, or else it isn't going to end well. What do you think?
No, I can see that. It's not just, or they think for some reason they're going to watch the two women going at it or something, and it's a group thing. It's there's got to be some equality there,
or they don't want to. Someone who was discussing with me about a threesome they had, he was like, yeah, the girls just kept going at it, and I was just kind of like, he was the one who was left out.
They addressed that, and what his suggestion was, I mean, they've really covered a lot of bases in this article. I got to be honest with you. Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. He said, think of it as not a one-on-one with a voyeur, and it says if the women are very busy, then be a background caresser. Sure, but don't interrupt them, but sort of try to add to it, which I thought was really interesting. And he described it as not a one-on-one with a voyeur, but a cycle moving from person to person.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we need to start selling sex timers. Time to move on.
Like speed dating, only threesome fucking, I don't know. Timers.
Like a kitchen timer shaped like a penis, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. Look there, and we're going through there.
This rule cracked me up. Be careful with penetration, and you have to make sure you're following the rules that you set up. And then, if you end up, and they said if you're a guy with two girls, it's very possible that you'll be finished first, but not to leave them hanging, to make sure that you see them through the whole thing, which I thought was...
That's always very important. Otherwise, they'll beat you up. Apparently,
go to jail, especially in Florida.
Yeah, right,
Manatee
it's always
County.
Important.
This is very important in Florida.
Do not have bad oral sex in Manatee County, Florida. Could end up in jail. Be safe. That's a duh. But the last one made me laugh. And he was adamant about this. It's not a relationship. He says, lay around after, do some cuddling or whatever. But the second woman, if it's two women and you, has to go home. No spending the night, and no replays the next morning, because he said that just opens a big can of worms. And after the other woman leaves, a lot of reassurance, a lot of post-game chat, whatever. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it is not. I mean, if you're going to be, I mean, if it's just about the sexual fantasy of multiple partners, then the fantasy is done, like the movie is done or the toy is done, and you're not looking at I have a hard time pronouncing this, polyamorous relationship. That's a whole separate issue. If you're if you want to bring someone in permanently, that's a separate thing. I don't know. I'm a truly selfish human being, so I don't like sharing.
I don't either.
But I can see, if probably would be handy too to, not have it at someone's own home. You know, I mean, if you're doing it someplace, then everybody has to leave, and then you don't
Neutral.
have neutral. You don't have that awkwardness,
Right.
Everybody goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's a really good point. It makes me think of, and coming up, I'll just give you guys a preview, well, the audience anyway, because Colleen, we have a very special show for you the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We have Rice and Beans, the erotic photographers, and also swingers. We've done an interview with them, and we talked about the photography and that kind of thing, but it was fascinating to have a couple sit here and talk about swinging, and I don't know. I still think that you have to be wired a little bit differently to be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, if the two folks that are, they have a openness and a communication, between the two of them that I think is definitely more highly evolved than other folks.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound, you need to be able, nothing festers, stuff just, gets brought up, and, they are communicating at a level that I think most people just don't get to. Mm-hmm. And, good thing they found each other, because they're very happy.
They seem to be.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they answered a lot of questions that I think any person that is like you are, I am, Colleen, that both of us declare the fact that we do not like to share. But it's fascinating to hear them talk about it. It really is.
Yeah. And like I said, and that's the part that I really get. When I'm looking at, when I used to do the buyer at Fantasy Gifts, when I used to do, different things, and I'm looking at things, I'm like, okay, that doesn't do it for me, but I can see how it works for other people. And I thought they were very honest about how it works for them. Mm-hmm. There's nothing, I'm like, okay, I get that. It's not for me, but I get that. Uh-huh. Or I can, just the different things. I think it's been something that's been awfully handy if you're going to sell sex toys for a living, is to understand how that works for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that'll be on the 24th of November. We'll remind everybody. We'll put it up on Facebook too, because that's a unique opportunity really to get a couple that's willing to talk about the experience of doing that, and whether or not it's your thing, it's still freaking interesting as all get out, and they're super cool people. So definitely check that one out. So guys, I want to kind of wrap, because I jokingly brought the porn conversation and the threesome conversation into the idea of the gift giving season. But, reiterate again, or, with regard to the conversation we've had today, talk about some of the things that you don't like to sell things to one person without them both there, or knowing that there hasn't been a conversation. How do you deal with holidays though?
Well, it's a lot of, I always keep saying it, I should just call the store conversations. It's a lot of conversation about what are you actually looking for?
Okay.
Does the person know what's going in? Have you looked online? Here's something that's a little, if you're going for a vibrator, to go with a smaller one to start with, to go for a smaller bottle of lube, because you may not like it. You just don't want, actually we stopped carrying some of the 8 and 16 ounce bottles because people just, they decided they didn't like that one anymore, and they've invested in a lot. Mm-hmm. You're going through there to use it as a shopping experience together, or as part of an evening, get an idea, so that later on, if you're putting something in the stocking, or you're having a more personal Christmas, that they're not opening up an anal toy that you never discussed.
Right.
Because we do sell personal products, and I have a long-standing, unless it's defective and unused, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't want anyone ever thinking that anything could have possibly been used in the store. Mm-hmm. So I can't, I cannot take it back. Mm-hmm. And so we just, when it comes to lingerie around the holidays and it's in perfect condition and the tags are still on there, we tend to, be a little more generous, because, folks just, some people are just very bad with sizes. Mm-hmm. But if it, this is why we, put batteries in a toy before it goes out, so you can see the features and stuff like this. You know exactly what you're getting. But, to take a look online, and that's another reason, why we, have the double website, is so there's a lot of different choices to go through, and you can get an idea. If you're interested in, a toy from from a company that we have, but we don't carry the entire line. You can come in and get an idea of how the motors work and stuff like that. So there's a lot of and ask. I mean, we've got another seminar coming up in December for the employees, and so they're they'll even have even more knowledge.
Yeah.
We're working on just different things for 2016, where we're talking where a company is sort of sponsoring product of the month, so we'll have more we'll have information about that.
Okay.
So it's about saying just ask. I mean, you can send a question to customer service at fantasygifts.com about a company or a product, or do you carry this at the store, and we'll get back to you.
Okay.
And give you the information. But definitely, I'm not going to dissuade surprises, but the majority of times when I've got someone unhappy with me, the store isn't, it's unhappy with me, it's because their partner bought something that they had not discussed. And to tell you the truth, I mean, that works the same way if you go out and buy a new sofa, or a new lamp.
That's true, yeah.
If you haven't discussed it, but but you can generally bring back something to Target but mine you can't. And I'm just being honest here. I mean, these are personal items, and I want everyone to be completely assured that if they come in and buy a dildo or a vibrator or anything that's insertable or this or that. And yes, I understand that penis straws don't get used, but if I start saying this can come back and that, it's
too hard.
It's very, very difficult. So just make sure what's going through there, and trying to make know what the expectations are when you're coming into the store. And I mean, we do have gift cards.
That's actually.
I mean, and I don't. I know that Miss Manners and a bunch of other people sometimes don't like gift cards. And I'm like, screw that. Because you're talking about my hard-earned money, and I don't want to purchase something that someone else doesn't like. And I don't give it, or I mean, I understand that. You give someone a gift card, they're going to go get what they want. And that just makes more sense. I mean, yes, you'd like to have a pretty box all wrapped up and go, ooh, and stuff like that. Or so get something, get a gift card and a small bottle of massage oil, or give a gift card and put some batteries in there and say, hey, go find something for these batteries. Something,
That's a good idea.
But it just, I don't understand, the fact that people sometimes can be so down on a gift card. I mean, you're making sure the person gets what they want. I mean, we are, for the most part, we are not mind readers. A lot of people think we are. I know my daughter sometimes thinks I'm a mind reader.
But that's a whole different bottle of wax.
So when the gentleman comes in and says, "What would my wife like?"
Ooh.
I can tell you what's popular. I can give you the merits, the pros and cons of pretty much anything in the store. But I don't know your wife. I don't know what she wants. And don't get mad at me if I say, well, a lot of people enjoy this finger vibe. And then you bring it home and she's like, what? A sex toy? Well, which hopefully would not happen. But, you just have to talk to people.
That is such a theme through every single thing out there regarding sex,
Oh, one advice I have, guys, the whole your eyes are bigger than your stomach, or your eyes are bigger than your ass, I believe, as Michael pointed out once. Do not assume that bigger is better. It is not. Bigger is not always better.
When it comes to vibrators?
When it comes to toys.
Okay.
Vibrators, dongs, whatever it is.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes bigger is funnier, but it's not better.
That's my little PSA. Some guy will come in and be like, I want to buy the biggest dildo you have. And I'm like, what do you think your person is going to do with that exactly?
Is your girlfriend a donkey?
Pretty sure she does not need the dick. She's never had a toy before, so I'm going to buy her the 18-inch Dick Rambone. I'm going to suggest you not do that and then remind you that all sales are final. Aside from that, it is all up to you.
I'm sorry. I just get cracked up when she gets on a roll like that. So it's shopping season, though. And I guess I wanted to bring this stuff up today because there's plenty of time to have the conversations and then have those conversations be forgotten so you can still get a surprise.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So
broach it now.
See what I'm saying? I have a little lead time, like I'm starting to think retail. I'm hanging around around with you guys. So anything post Halloween, pre Black Friday on your minds to close out today, guys?
Well, honestly, Black Friday's not a big thing for us. Because
Really?
remember, you're with your family. And you generally do not purchase the personal toys with
Right.
Aunt Mabel coming to visit.
Right.
Generally, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
For us, it's the second half of December, the first week of January. Christmas is not one day anymore. The holidays is just not one day. People have mixed and blended families. You have your chosen families. You have a lot of things going on.
Right.
So it is it's about a 3-week period, mid-December through the through the mid-January, where people are doing their personal Christmas.
Okay.
Which is separate from family Christmas. And, that's just how that works. And so we've tried Black Friday things and this and that. And I'm like, nobody cares.
Although it was pretty entertaining. We had, for a couple years, we had Black Friday ball busters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Instead of doorbusters. That's awesome.
But people came in, they had no idea that they were there.
No.
I mean, they
were
liked,
like, oh, hey.
they liked having the good deal, but nobody, I'm not making any of my employees get up at midnight and go to Fantasy Gifts. No, this not happening.
Yep.
We're open regular hours all weekend. You can get to the store when you get to the store. We've got, we'll have, we're, like I said, we're working on stuffing the stores, between, now and like mid-December, because that's, when it starts.
And then you can go home and stuff yourself.
Yep. And, it's going
In
through
many
there.
ways.
We've got a couple of vendors that we're talking to about possibly a buy so much, get a free gift thing, but none of that's finalized yet. And 'cause like I said, we've got a little bit more time. I'm not Best Buy or
Right.
Target or Kohl's or stuff like that have been advertising their Black Friday stuff, already. It just doesn't happen. It's been 35 years, and you're just not shopping for a rabbit vibe when the entire family's in town for Thanksgiving. I'm not saying we don't, do regular sales, but
So is it fair to say that your holiday season is slow and steady?
it is.
But it wins the race.
Okie dokie. Well, awesome, guys. We'll be back next week. And like I said, keep a watch on the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page, because Miss Megan is going to make sure that all the links to all this great stuff and the Nutscapes, you've got to see the Nutscapes, go up, and some of the articles that we've got and everything else. And again, Rice and Beans coming up on the 24th. You guys have a sweet week.
You too.
Bye.